This is Tom from This Day in Baseball, the Daily Rewind. We look back at 5 cool things about November 5th on baseball history. So up first is a little trivia about Burleigh Grimes. He played with an astonishing 36 Hall of Fame players, including 4 Hall of Fame first basemen. My question to you is, can you name the 4? Now, today is going to be just a little different in terms of I'm not going to have 5 different things because this particular guy has 5 things all by himself. He's actually 100 things. But I'm just going to give you some cool facts and tell you a story about Burleigh Grimes. So on November 5th in 1936, the Dodgers named Burleigh Grimes as their new manager. The former Brooklyn spitballer will replace another future Hall of Famer, Casey Stengel, who was fired last month during the World Series after compiling a record of 208 wins versus 251 losses. His .453 winning percentage was just not cutting the mustard for the Dodgers. And ironically, the Dodgers, who were historically a little on the cheap side, were paying 3 managers at the time, Max Carey, Grimes, and Stengel. Grimes, unfortunately, is not going to have a great career as a manager. He's going to win only 131 games against 171 losses. Now, Grimes is one of the more interesting players I have ever researched. Grimes won 20 games 5 times. He reached double digits in wins 14 consecutive years. He was a real hard-nosed battler. He used every edge he could to beat his opponents, including memorizing the rule book in case he had to argue a point with the men in blue. Grimes was also the last man to throw a legal spitball in the major leagues, and despite shuffling 6 of the 8 NL teams, he pitched for 3 World Series teams. Now, his greatest moment came in Game 7 of the 1931 World Series, where he took a shutout into the 9th inning against the 2-time defending A's, and he won the game, and the Cardinals had their 2nd World Championship. Not only did he win the game, and he had an amazing performance, but he won the game with the swollen appendix, which they froze before the game, and then he got removed after the game. That is a competitor right there. Some really interesting factoids about Grimes is that in 1921, when he won 22 games, he was paid a modest sum of $1,960 by the Dodgers. Grimes, as I mentioned, pitched in 4 World Series, but he was only 3-4 in his 9 World Series starts, and other than 1931, he had some pretty mixed results. So another real cool fact about Grimes is he actually made 7 outs and 3 at-bats. In a 1925 game against the Cubs, he grounded into 2 double plays and a triple play. Now, there's way much more about Burleigh Grimes. I suggest that you check out his page on thisdayinbaseball.com. And if you're interested in actually listening to a game that the future Hall of Famer would pitch in, that would be September 20th, 1934. It's a regular season game with the Tigers and the Yankees. He pitched 2 innings in relief. You can check that out on tomsvintagebaseball.com. Now, here's a little treat for you. This Saturday, it's a Grimes interview. The interview is about 5 minutes long or so, and after the interview, I'm going to give you the answer to the trivia question.
How did you get involved with the Pittsburgh Pirates? How did you...
Well, I went through the mini league and through the Wisconsin League and through the Southern League, and Cap Neal bought me at Birmingham.
Yes.
When I went to Pittsburgh.
Yes. And did they have scouts then, Mr. Grimes?
Oh, yes. Yeah, they had scouts, not many, but a few.
They did?
Yes.
And did one of the scouts...
One of the scouts bought me.
Bought you?
By the name, first fellow that bought me was a fellow by the name of Jim McGuire.
Yes, yes.
Was with Detroit. Detroit bought me. And then a load of logs went over top of me, and the Southern League guys waivers on me. Chattanooga did, and Birmingham claimed me.
Yes.
So that's how I got to Birmingham.
Okay, okay.
And then Cap Neal, Pittsburgh scout, bought me from Birmingham to Pittsburgh.
Yes, yes. Now, Mr. Grimes, you won 13 games in a row for the Giants.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. That's a tremendous achievement.
Well, in the springtime, I'd won 3 and lost 4. McGraw said I wasn't no spring pitcher, so he took me out of the lineup. And Roger Bresnahan was a coach, and he said, "Now you keep in good shape," because he said, "You don't know when he's going to grab you and put you back in there." So in Cincinnati, he put me in relief, and I did a good job.
Yes.
And from then on, I started regular.
Yes. Yes. And were you a relief pitcher for some time, Mr. Grimes?
Oh, sometimes I relieved, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But of course, when you won the 13 games in a row, you finished all those games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tremendous achievement, 13 games in a row.
Yeah, Hubble did it later on.
Yes, yeah. I wanted to ask you about the World Series. You played in 9 World Series.
No, not 9.
Not 9?
No, 4.
4. Were you very nervous pitching in the World Series?
Oh, no, not when you get the ball in your hand, you ain't nervous.
Yes.
Waiting for it a little bit, you're nervous at.
Yeah, because there's a lot of pressure on you. You want to win the series.
Yeah, well, you want to win your game anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, after you pitched with the Giants, Mr. Grimes, you went back to the Pittsburgh Pirates.
That's right.
How come the change back to the Pirates? What happened there?
They traded me for a pitcher. McGraw wanted me to stay there, but Stoneham wouldn't give me any more money, and I said I won't stay any longer here.
Yes.
So they traded me to Pittsburgh for Vic Aldrich.
Ah, yes, yes. And you stayed with Pittsburgh for 1 year?
Yeah, for 2 years.
2 years, okay. And what was your salary then, Mr. Grimes? Let's see how it moved.
I got it up to 20,000 then.
That's a lot of money then.
Yeah.
During the Depression.
Yes, sir.
And how did you find when you were pitching during the Depression, did a lot of fans still come to the baseball park? Or?
Oh, yes. It was always filled up. Brooklyn, that always filled that up. We drew real good.
Yes, yes. Would you have known Babe Ruth at all, Mr. Grimes?
Well, he worked for me. He coached for me at Brooklyn.
That's right. When you managed Brooklyn, he coached for you.
Last year, yeah.
Yeah. Tell me a little about Babe Ruth. My students and I would like to hear about him.
Well, I don't know too much about him. You've read everything there is about him.
Yes. Yeah.
So I don't know nothing new.
I don't know what else you could add.
No.
Now, when you managed the Dodgers in 37 and 38.
Yeah.
How did you enjoy that? And tell me a little about managing the Dodgers.
Oh, I didn't enjoy it at all because I didn't have no money and I didn't have many ball players.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Branch Rickey was involved with you?
Oh, no, he wasn't there yet. That is before he got there.
Yeah, yeah.
Because McPhail come there before Rickey got there.
I see. And then you also scouted for the New York Yankees, didn't you, Mr. Grimes?
Yeah, I pitched for them for about 4 months, from Decoration Day to Labor Day.
Yes, yes. Now, you pitched for them. You also were a scout for the Yankees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For 10 years about.
10 years, boy. What a wonderful career you've had, Mr. Grimes.
Yeah, I got some pretty good ball players for them.
Yeah, tell me who you got for the Yankees.
Well, I got Moose Skowron.
Yes.
And Bob Richardson.
Yes.
I had a piece of Boyer.
Sure. Cleet Boyer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good players, Mr. Grimes, all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful players. Wonderful players.
Now, before I jump to the trivia, I just want to again send a special invite to you to join my baseball community at tomsvintagebaseball.com. The link's below in the show notes. I just listed a dozen games you can listen to. And this is a place where we just relive baseball history through the voices of the past. Hundreds of interviews spanning back in time all the way to the 19th century. Old baseball, broadcasts, and so much more. There's thousands of audio clips for you to enjoy as a group or at your own convenience. You can start listening today at tomsvintagebaseball.com. Now, here's the answer to that trivia question. Grimes played with nearly every National League Hall of Famer in his era, 36 in total, played with 8 different teams during his career, and he was a teammate of 4 Hall of Fame first basemen. 3 of them are fairly easy. if you understand his career, but one of them is kind of a little bit of a. I kind of gave it away a little bit when I said what game that I have a recording for, but he played with George Sisler, Bill Terry, Jim Bottomley, and in 1934, in his very brief stay, he played with Lou Gehrig. Now, that's all I got for today. And as always, I hope that you like the show. I hope you share it, subscribe, leave a review. It all helps with us to expand our show and get out to more baseball fans just like you.